Who is Our Lady of Guadalupe? Do you know what the feast day of Our Lady of Guadalupe is? And why is this feast day so important? In fact, it is one of the most important feast days in many countries, especially in Mexico. In some sense, it's even more widely celebrated than Christmas Day. And whereas in many places, like in the USA, for example, Our Lady of Guadalupe is celebrated as a feast day, in Mexico, it's celebrated as perhaps one of the greatest solemnity celebrations in the liturgical calendar of the church. Now, for those who have been to the shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe, I'm sure you find the place to be very peaceful. It is truly a wonderful place for pilgrimage, and it is not too far outside the city of Mexico either. And when you go inside the main basilica, you can see the very tilma, the cloak in which our Blessed Mother's image appeared. It's on display, so be sure to see that when you visit. So here I'd like to share with you about five very important points about the meaning and significance of the feast day we celebrate on December 12th of every year, known as the feast day of Our Lady of Guadalupe. So let's get started. Now, just a reminder to please be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel to receive weekly reflections on faith. Thank you. Also, in case you want to know what the difference is between a solemnity and a feast day in the liturgical calendar of the church, I'll put a link to that in the description below so that you can learn the different hierarchical rankings of feast days, solemnities, ferial days, etc., and what they all mean. Now, the Blessed Virgin Mary has many different titles. I'll be sure to make a video on that in the future, about the various different names of our Blessed Mother. But here we want to focus on Our Lady of Guadalupe, also known as Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe in Spanish. It's a religious feast day, but it over time has also evolved into a cultural tradition and celebration. So there's a spiritual and religious component to it, and they're mixed with the cultural elements. So just know that there is a lot of information and resources on Our Lady of Guadalupe. So here we'll just cover the basics. Now, Our Lady of Guadalupe is everywhere in people's homes, the image or the statues. Especially if you visit a Latino family, for example, chances are you have seen the statue or the image of our Blessed Virgin Mary as Our Lady of Guadalupe. So then point number one, the meaning of the word Guadalupe. Our Lady of Guadalupe is a title given to our Blessed Mother's appearance to Juan Diego. The word Guadalupe is a combination of two words that are put together, Guadi, meaning either a valley or a river, and the word lupe, which comes from the Latin word lupus, meaning wolf. So apparently the place where our Blessed Mother appeared to Juan Diego is known at the time as the Valley of the Wolves. Now, of course, the decision to call the Blessed Virgin Mother, specifically Our Lady of Guadalupe, is because, according to the story, the Blessed Mother chose this very name herself. This is really important. And now, I get a lot of people asking this question a lot. Why do we call our Blessed Mother Our Lady of Guadalupe, with this very particular image? And the answer is that our Blessed Mother has specifically asked that she be called Our Lady of Guadalupe in her appearance to Juan Diego in 1531. More on that in a moment. Let's move on. Point number 2, the story of San Juan Diego and the appearance of Our Lady. Now, in order to talk about Our Lady of Guadalupe, we have to just take a step back and quickly review the history. Now, the Spanish colonization of America took place in the early 16th century. And the native religion at the time was pagan worship of the various different gods of nature, like the sun god and the moon gods, for example. Now, the Spaniards brought the Catholic faith to the New World, and many natives converted to this new Catholic faith. And according to the story, among those converted to Catholicism was a poor peasant named Juan Diego. So here's the basic summary of our Blessed Mother's appearance to Juan Diego. According to the story, the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared to Juan Diego 4 times, and once to Juan Diego's uncle named Juan Bernardino. Here's how the story goes. So the first time the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared to Juan Diego was on December 9th, 1531, nearly 500 years ago. The person, Juan Diego, was walking on his way to work, and as he was crossing the hill of Tepeyac, a young woman appeared to him. The woman identified herself as the Virgin Mary, the mother of the very true God, and she asked that a church be built on this very hill in which she appeared to him. And so then Juan Diego saw that image, saw her appearance, and he wants to follow what she asked. So then he went to the Bishop of Mexico City that day, Bishop Juan de Zumarana, to tell him about the appearance of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and that she requests specifically that a church be built on the hill on her behalf because of Juan Diego seeing her vision. So then the bishop didn't believe Juan Diego. Bishop says, no, I don't believe it. Right? And so that same day, Juan Diego saw the Blessed Virgin Mary appearing to him the second time, right? His second appearance. And she insisted that the church be built. And so then the following day, on Sunday, December 10th, Juan Diego talked to the bishop for a second time. And the bishop asked him to return to Tepeyac Hill and to ask this lady who appeared to him, right? Ask this lady to give him a sign to prove that she is the Blessed Virgin Mary. And so then Juan Diego, according to the story, came back to the hill where he initially encountered this woman, the Blessed Virgin Mary, and he saw her again in this third apparition. Juan Diego asked for a sign from her, asked that she give him a sign to prove her identity to the bishop. So the Blessed Mother asked Juan Diego to return the following day and she will give him what he requests. Now, that very same day, Juan Diego's uncle, Juan Bernardino, became sick. He became so sick, actually, that he was dying. And as a result of that, Juan Diego had to attend to his dying needs, right? And so he could not return to the hill to meet the Blessed Mother, where she promised him she will meet him. And he could not return to that hill. And so then, unable to meet the Blessed Virgin Mary, Juan Diego, according to the story, took a different way to get back to where he had to go. But then the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared to him on the way and asked him why he did not come to her to pray for his uncle, Juan Bernardino. In fact, the Blessed Virgin Mary told Juan the very following, in quotes, right, in Spanish. She told him, "No estoy aquí, que soy tu madre," which is translated to mean, "Am I not here? I am your mother." Now, these words are very, very, very important, and they are also on display together with the image of our Blessed Mother, our Blessed Lady of Guadalupe. So then, our Blessed Mother assured Juan Diego that his uncle had immediately recovered, and she told him to gather flowers from the top of the hill, which is normally empty, right? Barren, nothing on this hill, because it's the middle of December and everything was very cold. And so in any case, Juan followed her instruction and he found roses. He found a lot of roses which are not native to Mexico, blooming there. And then, according to the story, the Blessed Mother arranged the flowers in Juan Diego's tilma, that is the cloak. And when Juan Diego opened his cloak before the bishop on December 12th, the flowers fell to the floor, and on the fabric was the image of the Blessed Mother, the very image of Our Lady of Guadalupe. So the next day, on December 13th, Juan Diego found his uncle fully recovered, as the Virgin had assured him. And so he remembers this incident, and then he went and he informed the bishop that this is then the second miracle. So the first miracle, appearance of the roses, and then also the appearance of our Blessed Mother on the tilma, and then the recovery of his uncle. So then the bishop took Juan Diego's tilma and offered for a public display, and many came to see it. And over the course of time, the Blessed Mother's request of having a church built on this hill with her name was done. So that's the full story of the apparition in a nutshell. I know we skipped many details, but it's just not possible to include them all here. So if you're interested, please do more reading on this subject. Let's move on. Point number three. The meaning of the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe on the tilma. Now, chances are you've seen this image before. It's everywhere. You'll see it on as either an image or a statue. And when you go to shops, various gift shops or stores, you can find these images, or you can find the statue as well. So I want to just go over some of the basics here of what we're looking at, right? So our Blessed Mother imprinted this very image on the cloak of Juan Diego. And here are just some of the basics. So take a look. The clouds in the image represents the Virgin is surrounded by clouds, showing that she is from heaven. Now, the indigenous people greeted those whom they believe coming from the cloud as deity, right, as gods. Now, the next image is the sun. There are 3 suns represented in the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe. The first sun, not visible in the image, is cosmic, casting light on the Virgin's left side and creating a shadow. Now, golden rays from the second sun behind her signify that she is the mother of light and greater than the Aztec sun god, whom she eclipses. Now, the third sun is represented by the 4-petal flower on her tunic, indicating that she is about to give birth to the Almighty Sun. Next image, the Cross Medallion. Around her neck, Mary wears a gold medallion engraved with a cross. For the people here, the medallion symbolizes consecration. So the medallion around Mary's neck meant that she was consecrated to Jesus. Now the hands. The people express prayer not only by the hands, but by the whole body. And so the image of the tilma, Our Lady of Guadalupe, is shown in a position of prayer with her knees bent in movement. Now the mantle and the tunic. Mary's rose-tinted flowery tunic symbolizes the earth, while her turquoise starry mantle represents the heavens. The mantle also indicates that she is royalty, since only the native emperors wore cloaks of that color. Now, here's another interesting fact. The black ribbon, notice the black ribbon around Mary's waist. It shows that she is expecting a child. Now, for the Aztec people at the time, the black ribbon, this shaped ribbon, represents the end of the cycle and the birth of a new era. And those who are pregnant, they have the black ribbon. It's a symbol of Mary's pregnancy. Now, the next image is the flowers. There are 9 golden flowers symbolizing life and truth and adorn Mary's dress. The flowers are made up of glimpse representing a hill and a river. And the indigenous people, they consider the hills the highest point of encounter between God and people. And viewed upside down, the flowers take the shape of hearts with arteries coming out, representing life, which originates from God. Now, the 4-petal jasmine, the only 4-petal flower on Mary's tunic, appeared on her womb. Right? The 4-petal jasmine represents the Aztecs' highest deity, highest God, in other words. And here it's trying to display the fact that Mary, Our Lady of Guadalupe, is carrying the highest God of all, Jesus Christ. Now, the moon, the Virgin stands on a crescent moon. Right? The Aztec word for Mexico means in the center of the moon. The moon also symbolizes the Aztecs' moon god, fertility, birth, and life. And then finally, the angel. An angel with eagle's wings appears below Mary's feet. According to the Aztecs' belief, an eagle delivered the hearts and the blood of sacrificial victims to the gods. The angels, though, hold up the pregnant virgin, signifying that the child in her womb is the offering that pleases God. And that ends this section here. It's a very dense section, and of course, you want to take a look at the image and study it further. A lot of beautiful symbolisms that you can find here. And so then let's move on to point number 4, the cultural celebration of Our Lady of Guadalupe. Now, over the course of time, there are many cultural elements that made its way into the celebration of Our Lady of Guadalupe. And especially in more recent times, if you ever visit a church, particularly with a large Hispanic population, they always celebrate this feast day as a great festivity, right? There's a lot of dancing, music, parties, mariachi, and they go overnight prayers too. Right? Sometimes a couple of days before, or even a novena before, and especially the day before and the day of. There's a lot of many different celebrations, and there are a lot of processions as well. They'll process around the neighborhoods, have various religious images of our Blessed Mother, of the cross, etc. And they're dress-up parties and costumes, and it's just a lot of fun. And so the cultural aspects and experiences here, it's really difficult to describe. And so I just encourage you, if you ever get a chance, or if you actually do celebrate this great feast, be sure to just enter in and enjoy, because it's a lot of fun. Right? And then, which brings us to point number 5, and the last point I want to talk about here is the devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe. Now, as I've mentioned before, Our Lady of Guadalupe is a very important celebration, and it's a great source of devotion as well. Right? Many are devoted to our Blessed Mother of Guadalupe. And remember, we always worship God. We worship God alone. But the Blessed Virgin Mary, and then also the saints too, we venerate. And I've talked about this before in other videos, but there's a clear difference, right? Sometimes there's this mistaken identity that our Blessed Mother is like a god, or like the various gods in the pagan understanding. But that's not the case, right? That's not the case. The image here is to really simply prove that our Blessed Mother carries the greatest God of all, Jesus Christ, in her womb. Take a look at the symbolism that we talked about earlier, and you can see that there. And so then, just to finish this whole section, the image of Our Lady of Guadalupe is a symbol. It's a great symbol of the country of Mexico. And she also is the patron saint of all of the Americas, including the North and South America. And so then on the feast day of our Blessed Mother, Our Lady of Guadalupe, we celebrate her, and we pray, and we ask for her intercession. And then if you ever get a chance, go and visit Mexico City, and especially the Basilica of Our Lady of Guadalupe, where once you enter inside, you can see this very image that nearly 500 years ago, our Blessed Mother appeared to Juan Diego and imprinted her image on his tilma. That's it for now. May God bless you, and may Our Lady of Guadalupe intercede for all of us. Amen.